1. We've got an incredible find on Craigslist. A 1962 Studebaker Hawk that's sure to make your heart race. This beauty is up for grabs at just $13,000, and from what the seller tells us, it's an opportunity you won't want to miss. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller has listed it as excellent, and we have no reason to doubt them. With only 70,000 original miles on the odometer and just 3 owners in its lifetime, this Hawk has been cherished and well-maintained. It's rare to find a classic car in such pristine condition, especially one that's nearly 60 years old. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 289 CI V8 engine with a 4-barrel carburetor, paired with a 4-speed manual transmission. And if you're looking for some serious performance, this Hawk's got you covered with its twin traction, posi traction, rear end. It's a true driver's car that's built for both speed and style. The seller has also made some recent improvements, including newer tires, a new power brake unit, and a fresh exhaust system. Plus, they've noted that the car is completely rust-free, which is a testament to how well it's been cared for over the years. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The seller mentions that the car was professionally appraised at $14,700 in 2020, which means you're getting a fantastic deal at the current asking price. It's all original too, so you can be sure that you're getting a genuine piece of automotive history. The only downside? The seller is parting with this gem due to age and mobility issues, and they've noted that one of the brakes is currently hanging up and needs some attention. But don't let that deter you. With a little TLC, this Hawk will be back on the road in no time. So if you're ready to own a true classic that's sure to turn heads wherever you go, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller. This 1962 Studebaker Hawk is a rare find that won't last long at this price. 2. We've got a real treat for you on Craigslist. A 1956 Pontiac Starchief that's ready to hit the road. This classic beauty is up for grabs at just $12,000, and from what the seller tells us, it's a ride you won't want to miss. Now, let's dive into the details. The seller has listed the condition as good, which is promising for a car that's over 60 years old. They mention that it's ready to cruise smoothly thanks to the front hydraulic and front disc brakes. That's a great upgrade for a car of this age, ensuring a safer and more comfortable ride. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 8-cylinder engine that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. The seller also notes that the car runs great on the freeway, thanks to a 2004 R transmission and an electric fuel pump. That means you can take this beauty out for a spin without worrying about any performance issues. One thing to keep in mind is that the odometer is broken and has rolled over. While this isn't uncommon for a car of this age, it does mean that we can't be entirely sure of the actual mileage. However, the seller seems confident in the car's overall condition, which is a good sign. Inside, you'll find a loud stereo system that's perfect for cruising down the highway with your favorite tunes. And the best part? The seller mentions that there's no rust on this Starchief, which is a huge plus for any classic car enthusiast. Now, it's important to note that the seller is only interested in serious buyers. So if you're ready to make this beauty your own, be prepared to make a solid offer. With its classic style, smooth performance, and great condition, this 1956 Pontiac Starchief is a rare find that won't last long at this price. 3. We've got a unique find on Craigslist that might just catch your eye. A 1984 Cadillac DeVille. But wait, there seems to be a bit of confusion in the seller's ad. Let me explain. The seller has listed this car as a 1984 Cadillac DeVille, but the description they provided is actually for a different vehicle, a 1976 Oldsmobile Omega. It's possible that the seller made an error when creating the listing, so we'll need to take the information provided with a grain of salt. That being said, let's focus on what we do know about this car. The seller has listed the condition as good, which is promising for a vehicle that's nearly 40 years old. They mentioned that the Oldsmobile Omega has a rebuilt engine and transmission, specifically a 350/350ths combo, which is a popular choice for classic car enthusiasts. The new exhaust system is also a nice touch, ensuring that this ride will sound as good as it looks. The seller also notes that the car runs great and has passed smog, which is a big plus for anyone looking to drive this beauty on the road. And with a clean title, you can be sure that you're getting a vehicle with a clear history. Now, let's talk about the price. The seller is asking $7,500 for this Cadillac DeVille, or Oldsmobile Omega, depending on which part of the ad you believe. While that might seem a bit steep for a car with some confusion in the listing, it's important to keep in mind that classic cars like this one are becoming increasingly rare. With the right care and attention, this vehicle could be a valuable addition to any collection. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's important to do your due diligence before making an offer. If possible, try to clarify with the seller exactly which car is for sale, the Cadillac DeVille or the Oldsmobile Omega, and be sure to inspect the vehicle thoroughly before making a final decision. Overall, while there may be some confusion in the listing, this 1984 Cadillac DeVille or 1976 Oldsmobile Omega could be a great find for the right buyer. With its rebuilt engine, new exhaust, and clean title, this classic ride is ready to hit the road in style. So if you're in the market for a vintage vehicle with some character, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and learn more. 4. We've got a real treat for you on Craigslist, a 1976 Oldsmobile Omega that's been given a new lease on life. This classic beauty is up for grabs at just $7,500, and from what the seller tells us, it's a ride that's ready to hit the road. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller has listed it as good, which is impressive for a car that's over 45 years old. It's clear that this Omega has been well cared for and has undergone some serious upgrades to keep it running strong. Under the hood, you'll find a rebuilt 350 engine that's paired with a rebuilt 350 transmission. That's a winning combination for any classic car enthusiast, ensuring that this Omega has plenty of power and reliability. Plus, with a new exhaust system, you can bet that this ride will sound as good as it looks. The seller also mentions that this Omega runs great and has passed smog, which is a huge plus for anyone looking to drive this beauty on the road. And with a clean title, you can be sure that you're getting a vehicle with a clear history. Now let's talk about the price. At $7,500, this 1976 Oldsmobile Omega is a steal for any classic car enthusiast. Considering the rebuilt engine and transmission, new exhaust, and overall good condition, it's a price that's hard to beat. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's important to do your due diligence before making an offer. Be sure to inspect the vehicle thoroughly and ask the seller any questions you may have about its history and condition. But overall, this 1976 Oldsmobile Omega is a rare find that's sure to impress. With its rebuilt engine and transmission, new exhaust, and good condition, it's a car that's ready to be enjoyed by its new owner for years to come. So, if you're in the market for a classic car that's been given a new lease on life, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make this 1976 Oldsmobile Omega your own. With its powerful engine, smooth transmission, and overall good condition, it's a ride that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. 5. Get ready to be blown away by this incredible find on Craigslist. A 1964 Mercury Monterey that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. And guess what? It can be yours for just $15,000. First off, let's talk about the condition of this classic beauty. The seller has listed it as excellent, and with only 37,000 original miles on the odometer, it's easy to see why. This Monterey has been well preserved over the years, and it shows in every detail. The paint color is a stunning blue that's sure to catch the eye of anyone who sees it. And with a clean title, you can be confident that this car has a clear history and is ready to be enjoyed by its new owner. Under the hood, you'll find a gas-powered engine that's in good running condition. The seller mentions that this Monterey is a timeless classic that gets thumbs up and smiles everywhere, especially in its namesake city of Monterey. And with an automatic transmission, it's easy to drive and enjoy on the open road. Now let's talk about the price. At $15,000, this 1964 Mercury Monterey is a steal for any classic car enthusiast. Considering its excellent condition, low mileage, and timeless style, it's a price that's hard to beat. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's important to do your due diligence before making an offer. Be sure to inspect the vehicle thoroughly and ask the seller any questions you may have about its history and condition. But overall, this 1964 Mercury Monterey is a rare find that's sure to impress. With its stunning blue paint, low mileage, and excellent condition, it's a car that's ready to be enjoyed by its new owner for years to come. So if you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to turn heads and make you the envy of every car enthusiast in town, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make this 1964 Mercury Monterey your own. 6. We've got a real gem on Craigslist that's sure to make your heart skip a beat. A 1984 Oldsmobile Cutlass that's in absolutely excellent condition. And the best part? It can be yours for just $13,500. Now, I know what you might be thinking. The description mentions Monterey, but this is a Cutlass, not a Mercury Monterey. It seems like the seller may have accidentally copied the description from another listing. But don't let that deter you from checking out this incredible ride. First off, let's talk about the mileage. With only 37,000 original miles on the odometer, this Cutlass is practically a time capsule. It's rare to find a classic car that's been driven so sparingly over the years, and it's a testament to how well preserved this beauty is. The seller mentions that the car is in excellent condition, and we have no reason to doubt them. The paint color is a stunning blue that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. And with a clean title, you can be confident that this Cutlass has a clear history and is ready to be enjoyed by its new owner. Under the hood, you'll find a gas-powered engine that's in good running condition. And with an automatic transmission, it's easy to drive and enjoy on the open road. Now, let's talk about the price. At $13,500, this 1984 Oldsmobile Cutlass is a fantastic deal for any classic car enthusiast. Considering its excellent condition, low mileage, and timeless style, it's a price that's hard to beat. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's important to do your due diligence before making an offer. Be sure to inspect the vehicle thoroughly and ask the seller any questions you may have about its history and condition. But overall, this 1984 Oldsmobile Cutlass is a rare find that's sure to impress. With its stunning blue paint, low mileage, and excellent condition, it's a car that's ready to be enjoyed by its new owner for years to come. So if you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to turn heads and make you the envy of every car enthusiast in town, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make this 1984 Oldsmobile Cutlass your own. 7. We've got a real treat for you on Craigslist. A 1976 Mercury Grand Marquis that's ready to hit the road. This classic beauty is up for grabs at just $6,500, and from what the seller tells us, it's a ride that's been well cared for over the years. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller has listed it as good, which is impressive for a car that's over 45 years old. They mention that it's in original condition, which is a huge plus for any classic car enthusiast looking for a ride that's authentic and true to its roots. Under the hood, you'll find a factory 460, 4-engine with dual exhaust, which means this Grand Marquis has plenty of power to spare. And with only 67,000 miles on the odometer, it's clear that this car has been driven sparingly over the years. The seller also mentions that this Grand Marquis has undergone lots of recent work, including new tires, a new carburetor, radiator, master cylinder, water pump, fuel pump, shocks, battery, alternator, and even a new heater core. That's a lot of upgrades for a car that's already in good condition, and it shows that the seller has taken great care to keep this ride running smoothly. One of the best parts about this Grand Marquis is that it's insured and being driven regularly, which means it's ready to be enjoyed by its new owner right away. And with winter storage, you can be sure that this car has been protected from the elements during the colder months. Now let's talk about the price. At $6,500, this 1976 Mercury Grand Marquis is a fantastic deal for any classic car enthusiast. Considering its original condition, recent upgrades, and overall good shape, it's a price that's hard to beat. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's important to do your due diligence before making an offer. Be sure to inspect the vehicle thoroughly and ask the seller any questions you may have about its history and condition. But overall, this 1976 Mercury Grand Marquis is a unique find that's sure to impress. With its powerful engine, recent upgrades, and original condition, it's a car that's ready to be enjoyed by its new owner for years to come. So, if you're in the market for a classic car that's been well cared for and is ready to hit the road, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make this 1976 Mercury Grand Marquis your own. With its impressive features and overall good condition, it's a ride that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. 8. We've got a real project car on Craigslist that's just waiting for the right buyer to give it some love. A 1978 Chevrolet Monte Carlo Landau. This classic ride is up for grabs at $9,500, and while it may need some work, it's got plenty of potential to be a real head-turner. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller has listed it as good, but it's important to note that this Monte Carlo is a project car. It's got the original 231 V6 engine and transmission, which is a plus for anyone looking to keep this ride true to its roots. The interior is also original, with leather seats and a floor shifter that give it that classic 70s vibe. The seller mentions that all the glass is in excellent shape with no cracks, which is a big plus for any project car. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. The seller notes that while the car runs and drives, it doesn't have a title. That means it's being sold as is with a bill of sale, and the buyer will need to tow it away. This is definitely something to keep in mind if you're considering taking on this project. But don't let that deter you from seeing the potential in this Monte Carlo. The seller mentions that it's the perfect candidate for a lowrider or resto mod project, and we couldn't agree more. With its classic lines and original features, this ride has plenty of potential to be a real showstopper. Of course, as with any project car, it's important to do your due diligence before making an offer. Be sure to inspect the vehicle thoroughly and ask the seller any questions you may have about its history and condition. At $9,500, this 1978 Chevrolet Monte Carlo Landau is priced fairly for a project car with this much potential. It's not a steal, but it's also not overpriced considering the work that needs to be done. So if you're in the market for a classic project car that's just waiting for the right buyer to give it some love, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make an offer on this 1978 Chevrolet Monte Carlo Landau. With some elbow grease and a little bit of vision, this ride could be the perfect addition to any car enthusiast's collection. 9. We've got a real classic on Craigslist that's sure to get your engine revving. A 1980 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. This iconic ride is up for grabs at just $4,200, and while the seller's description is a bit brief, there's still plenty to get excited about. First off, let's talk about what we know. This Camaro is packing a powerful 350 engine under the hood, which is sure to provide plenty of thrills out on the open road. It's also got an automatic transmission, which makes it easy to drive and enjoy. The exterior is painted a sleek black, which is always a classic look for a muscle car like this. And with a clean title, you can be sure that this Camaro has a clear history and is ready to be enjoyed by its new owner. Now, it's worth noting that the seller hasn't provided a ton of details about the condition of this Camaro. They haven't mentioned anything about the interior, the mileage, or any potential issues that need to be addressed. That's not necessarily a red flag, but it does mean that you'll want to do your due diligence before making an offer. If possible, try to get in touch with the seller and ask for more information about the car's history and condition. And if you're able to see it in person, be sure to give it a thorough inspection to make sure there aren't any surprises hiding under the hood or in the interior. But even with those caveats, there's no denying that this 1980 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 is a real head-turner. With its powerful engine, classic styling, and affordable price tag, it's sure to be a hit with any muscle car enthusiast. And at just $4,200, it's a price that's hard to beat for a classic ride like this. Sure, it may need a little bit of work to get it in top shape, but that's all part of the fun of owning a vintage car. So if you're in the market for a classic muscle car that won't break the bank, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make an offer on this 1980 Chevrolet Camaro Z28. With a little bit of love and attention, this iconic ride could be the perfect addition to any car enthusiast's collection. 10. We've got a real gem on Craigslist that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. A 1980 Cadillac DeVille that's been tricked out with some serious upgrades. This classic ride is up for grabs at $12,500, and based on the seller's description, it's got plenty of features that make it worth every penny. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller has listed it as good, which is a promising sign for a car that's over 40 years old. They don't mention any major issues or damage, so it seems like this DeVille has been well cared for over the years. Now let's dive into the upgrades. This DeVille is rocking 2 pumps and 8 batteries, which means it's got some serious hydraulic power. Whether you're looking to impress at car shows or just cruise around town in style, this setup is sure to turn heads. But that's not all. This DeVille also has a factory sunroof, which is a rare and desirable feature on a classic car like this. Imagine cruising down the highway with the wind in your hair and the sun on your face. It doesn't get much better than that. Inside, you'll find a leather interior that's sure to be comfortable and stylish. The seller doesn't mention the condition of the interior, but based on the overall description, it seems like it's probably in good shape. Under the hood, this DeVille is packing a Holley Sniper EFI system, which is a great upgrade for anyone who wants reliable cold starts and improved performance. And with an odometer reading of 120,000 miles, which has rolled over, this car has plenty of life left in it. The exterior is painted a sleek silver, which is a classic color for a Cadillac. And with a clean title and a pink slip in hand, you can be sure that this car has a clear history and is ready to be enjoyed by its new owner. Now, it's worth noting that the seller is firm on their price and isn't interested in trades. They also mention that low ballers will be ignored, so if you're serious about making this DeVille yours, be prepared to pay the asking price. But even at $12,500, this 1980 Cadillac DeVille is a solid deal for a classic car with these kinds of upgrades. The hydraulic setup, factory sunroof, and Holley Sniper EFI system all add value and make this car stand out from the crowd. So, if you're in the market for a classic Cadillac that's been upgraded with some serious style and performance, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make an offer on this 1980 DeVille. With its good condition, rare features, and powerful upgrades, this car is sure to be a hit with any enthusiast who appreciates classic American luxury. 11. We've got a real classic on Craigslist that's just waiting for the right buyer to give it some love. A 1960 Ford Thunderbird. This iconic ride is up for grabs at $12,000 or best offer. And while it may need a little bit of work, it's got plenty of potential to be a real head-turner. First off, let's talk about the good stuff. This Thunderbird is packing a powerful 8-cylinder engine under the hood, which means it's got plenty of get up and go. It's also got an automatic transmission, which makes it easy to drive and enjoy. The seller mentions that this T-Bird has a clean title, which is always a big plus when you're buying a classic car. It means that the car has a clear history and shouldn't have any legal issues down the road. Now let's talk about the condition. The seller is upfront about the fact that this Thunderbird needs a new paint job, which is definitely something to keep in mind if you're considering making an offer. A quality paint job can be expensive, so you'll want to factor that into your budget. The seller also mentions that the headliner is cracked, which is a common issue on older cars like this. It's not a deal breaker, but it's definitely something you'll want to address if you want to make this T-Bird look its best. On the plus side, the seller notes that this Thunderbird runs well, which is always a good sign. And with only 30,000 miles on the odometer, it's clear that this car has been well cared for over the years. Of course, as with any classic car, there may be other issues that need to be addressed that the seller hasn't mentioned. That's why it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection before making a final decision. But even with those caveats, there's no denying that this 1960 Ford Thunderbird is a real gem. With its classic styling, powerful engine, and low mileage, it's got plenty of potential to be a real showstopper. And at $12,000 or best offer, it's a price that's not too shabby for a classic ride like this. Sure, you may need to invest a little bit of money to get it looking its best, but that's all part of the fun of owning a vintage car. So, if you're in the market for a classic Thunderbird that's got plenty of potential, don't hesitate to reach out to the seller and make an offer on this 1960 model. With a little bit of love and attention, this iconic ride could be the perfect addition to any car enthusiast's collection. 12. We've got a real beast of a machine to talk about. A 1975 Chevrolet Corvette that's been seriously souped up for the drag strip. This bad boy is packing some serious heat under the hood. With over 600 horsepower thanks to a nitrous oxide system and a built turbo, it's not your average daily driver, that's for sure. Now let's be real here. The seller admits that this car is a handful to drive, and it's definitely not for inexperienced drivers or kids. With a 4,500 stall torque converter, a Ford 9 inches rear end with 3.88 gears and a spool, and a set of slicks, this Corvette is built for one thing and one thing only: tearing up the drag strip. The seller even claims it can run 10.40S with the nitrous engaged. But here's the thing, this car isn't in perfect condition. It's an old drag car that's been brought back to the street, and it shows. The roll cage is still intact. And it's definitely not a car you'd want to take on a long road trip. But if you're looking for a weekend warrior that can lay down some serious times at the track, this might be the car for you. The seller is asking $10,500 for this beast, and the pink slip is registered until 2025. It's a lot of car for the money, but it's also a lot of car to handle. If you're an experienced driver with a need for speed and a love for classic American muscle, this 1975 Corvette might be worth a look. But if you're a novice or just looking for a comfortable cruiser, you might want to steer clear. As always, do your due diligence before buying any car, especially one with this kind of power and history. But if you've got the skills and the guts to handle it, this Corvette could be the ride of your dreams. 13. We've got a real piece of American history to talk about, a 1957 Ford Fairlane 500 that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This black beauty is a true icon of the 1950s, with its sleek coupe body style and classic chrome accents. Under the hood, you'll find a beefy 390 FE engine that's been paired with a 4-barrel Carter AFB carburetor and a dual exhaust system. That means plenty of power and a seriously sweet soundtrack to go with it. The transmission is a sturdy C6 automatic, so you can cruise in comfort and style. The seller has done some recent work on this Fairlane, including installing a new battery, cables, and solenoid. The body is said to be in great shape, with almost zero rust, a real rarity for a car of this age. The chrome is also reported to be in nice condition, and the car sits on a fresh set of tires. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows with this Fairlane. The seller admits that the interior needs some work, but the good news is that all the pieces are there. It's just a matter of putting in the time and effort to get it looking as good as the rest of the car. The odometer shows 80,000 miles, which is relatively low for a car that's over 60 years old. The title is clean, and the car has current tags, so you should be able to hit the road as soon as you get that interior sorted out. The asking price for this 1957 Ford Fairlane 500 is $13,000, which seems like a fair deal for a classic car in this condition. Of course, as with any old car, there may be some hidden issues that aren't immediately apparent, so it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection before making a purchase. Overall, this Fairlane 500 looks like a solid choice for anyone who loves classic American cars and isn't afraid to put in a little elbow grease to get things just right. With its powerful engine, sweet styling, and relatively low mileage, it's a car that's sure to turn heads and put a smile on your face every time you get behind the wheel. 14. We've got a real gem to talk about. A 1980 Buick Riviera that's been meticulously maintained and restored to its former glory. This is the kind of car that you don't see every day, and it's sure to turn heads wherever it goes. First off, let's talk about the engine. This Riviera is powered by a reliable 5.7-liter, 350 cubic inch V8 that's paired with a smooth shifting automatic transmission. That means plenty of power for cruising down the highway or just running errands around town. But what really sets this Riviera apart is the amount of time and money that's been invested in making it look and feel like new. The seller has gone above and beyond to ensure that every aspect of this car is in top condition. From the brand new touring tires and alignment to the new velvet headliner and auburn leather seats, no detail has been overlooked. Under the hood, the seller has replaced the intake manifold and valve cover gaskets, adjusted the carburetor, and set the idle. They've also installed a new AC compressor and accumulator so you can stay cool and comfortable even on the hottest summer days. The brakes have been completely overhauled with new front rotors and pads, rear shoes and hardware, and a new master cylinder. The suspension has also been upgraded with new rear coils and front-rear shock absorbers, ensuring a smooth and comfortable ride. And with new hood and trunk strut arms, you won't have to worry about any annoying squeaks or rattles. But perhaps the most impressive thing about this Riviera is the condition of the body and interior. The seller reports no rust, and the original paint still has a beautiful luster. The dash is free of cracks, and the leather and carpets are in great shape. The car even comes with its original build sheet and a clean title. Now, it's worth noting that this Riviera does have 103,000 miles on the odometer, which is relatively high for a classic car. However, the seller has provided a detailed list of all the work that's been done to keep this car in top condition, which is essential for a vehicle of this age. And with 2 sets of keys and collector plates included, you'll be ready to hit the road as soon as you take delivery. The asking price for this 1980 Buick Riviera is $12,000, which may seem steep at first glance. But when you consider the amount of work and money that's gone into making this car look and feel like new, it starts to look like a pretty good deal. Sure, you might be able to find a similar car with lower miles or a lower price tag, but will it have the same level of care and attention to detail as this one? That's something to consider. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic American luxury car that's been lovingly restored and maintained, this 1980 Buick Riviera is definitely worth a closer look. With its powerful V8 engine, smooth automatic transmission, and stunning black and auburn color scheme, it's a car that's sure to impress. 15. We've got a real treat for you. A 1955 Dodge Coronet that's been lovingly maintained and is ready for a new owner. This is a car that's sure to turn heads wherever it goes, thanks to its classic styling and eye-catching blue paint job. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Coronet. The seller reports that it's in excellent shape, with a straight body and no broken or cracked glass. The interior is also said to be in very good condition, with seats and headliner that look practically new. That's impressive for a car that's over 65 years old. Under the hood, you'll find a V8 engine that's paired with an automatic transmission. 1955 was the first year that Dodge offered a V8 in the Coronet, so this car is a real piece of automotive history. And with just over 97,000 miles on the odometer, it's clear that this Coronet has been well cared for over the years. One of the coolest features of this car is the shifter on the dash, which was a one-year-only option in 1955. It's a real conversation starter and adds to the overall vintage feel of the car. The seller also notes that this Coronet is a California car, which is a big plus for anyone looking for a classic car that's been spared the ravages of rust and harsh weather. And with a clean title, you can be sure that there are no hidden surprises waiting for you down the road. Now, it's worth noting that even the best-maintained classic cars can have their issues, so it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection before making a purchase. But based on the seller's description and the photos provided, this 1955 Dodge Coronet looks like it's in fantastic shape. The asking price for this beauty is just $5,000, which seems like a steal for a car of this caliber. Of course, as with any classic car, there may be some additional expenses down the road like maintenance and repairs. But if you're looking for a vintage ride that's sure to turn heads and put a smile on your face every time you get behind the wheel, this Coronet is definitely worth considering. The car is located near Las Vegas Boulevard in Warm Springs, so if you're in the area, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. And if you're not local, it might be worth making a trip just to see this beauty in person. Overall, this 1955 Dodge Coronet looks like a fantastic find for anyone who loves classic American cars. With its straight body, excellent interior, and rare one-year-only features, it's a car that's sure to stand out from the crowd. And at just $5,000, it's a bargain that's hard to beat. 16. We've got a real classic to talk about. A 1971 Pontiac Lemons that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This black beauty is a true muscle car, with a powerful 400 V8 engine under the hood and a sleek coupe body style that's sure to turn heads. Now let's be real here. This Lemons isn't in perfect condition. The seller admits that the odometer is rolled over, so the actual mileage is unknown. But they also say that the car runs and drives well, which is a good sign. It's always important to be honest about a car's condition, and it seems like this seller is being upfront about any potential issues. That being said, there's still a lot to love about this Lemons. The black paint looks great in the photos, and the car appears to be in good overall shape. The interior isn't pictured, so it's hard to say what kind of condition it's in, but hopefully it's as nice as the exterior. Under the hood, that 400 V8 engine is a real powerhouse. Pontiac's 400 cubic inch V8 was known for its strong performance and durability, so this Lemons should have plenty of get up and go. The automatic transmission is also a plus for anyone who wants a classic car that's easy to drive. The seller is asking $8,000 for this Lemons, which seems like a fair price for a classic muscle car in good condition. Of course, as with any old car, there may be some hidden issues that aren't immediately apparent, so it's always a good idea to get a thorough inspection before making a purchase. Interestingly, the seller is also open to trading the Lemons for a four-wheel drive tractor with a front loader or a skid steer. That's not something you see every day in a Craigslist ad, but hey, maybe someone out there has a tractor they're looking to trade for a classic car. Overall, this 1971 Pontiac Lemons looks like a solid choice for anyone who loves classic American muscle cars. It's got a powerful engine, a cool coupe body style, and a clean title. Sure, it may have some miles on it, but that's to be expected for a car that's over 50 years old. If you're in the market for a vintage ride that's sure to get attention wherever you go, this Lehman's is definitely worth checking out. 17. We've got a real gem to talk about. A 1977 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at just $5,500, and let me tell you, it's a rare find. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Cutlass. The seller describes it as being in excellent shape, and based on the detailed description they've provided, I'm inclined to believe them. The car was owned by a meticulous electrician who took great pride in maintaining it, and it shows. The glass is in good condition, the chrome bumpers are pristine, and all the trim pieces are intact. The interior is also in nice original condition, with no rips, tears, or stains on the bench seats. And the carpets and headliner are holding up well. Now let's talk about what makes this Cutlass so special. It's a third-gen model, with the highly desirable waterfall grille that was only produced from 1976 to 1977. And get this, it's a sedan model, which was the lowest production variant with less than 1% remaining today. Finding one in original condition, rust-free, and running is like stumbling upon a leprechaun with a pot of gold. Under the hood, you'll find the bulletproof 350 engine that Oldsmobile is known for. The seller notes that the car fires right up and has good compression in all cylinders, and the transmission shifts smoothly through all gears. Plus, unlike modern cars, you can easily maintain this classic yourself with readily available parts. The seller has also provided a binder of service records and is including additional OEM parts with the purchase. The car recently underwent an inspection and had some maintenance done, including a new battery, hoses, plugs, wires, valve stems, and more. The only recommendations are a water pump bearing and a high beam headlight, which have already been purchased. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is this deal too good to be true? Well, the seller seems sincere in their description, and they've provided plenty of details to back up their claims. Plus, the proceeds of the sale are going to the family of the owner, who recently passed away. It's clear that this car meant a lot to him, and he wanted it to go to a good home with an enthusiast or classic car collector. In conclusion, if you're in the market for a classic car that's sure to turn heads and start conversations wherever you go, this 1977 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme is definitely worth checking out. It's a true survivor with a clean title, low mileage, and a well-documented history. And at just $5,500, it's a bargain compared to other Cutlass models that have sold for much more. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and give this seller a call before someone else snatches up this rare gem. 18. We've got a real unique find to share with you. A 1971 Cadillac hearse that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $10,000, and let me tell you, it's a rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. First off, let's talk about the condition of this hearse. The seller describes it as being in excellent shape, and based on the details they've provided, it seems to be a well-preserved example. The car has been stored inside since the early 1990s and has only been outside a few times, which has helped to keep it in great condition. The paint and interior are said to be very good, and the vinyl top is described as being in almost perfect shape. Now let's talk about what makes this hearse so special. It's a 1971 model, which means it's got that classic Cadillac style and presence. The seller believes it's built on the 75 series chassis, which was known for its smooth ride and powerful engine. Speaking of the engine, the seller notes that the car starts and runs smoothly thanks to a fresh tank of gas and some time on the charger. Of course, being a hearse, this car has some unique features that set it apart from your average Cadillac. It doesn't have power windows or locks, which is to be expected for a vehicle of this type and age. There are a few minor issues to note, such as a few dents and a little rust around one of the windows, as well as a window in the back that has been replaced with plexiglass. However, these are relatively minor issues that don't detract from the overall appeal of the car. One thing to keep in mind is that the air conditioning system may need to be recharged or switched to R134 refrigerant, which is a common issue with older vehicles. However, the seller notes that the car has good tags until 2025, so you won't have to worry about registration for a while. Overall, if you're in the market for a unique and eye-catching vehicle with plenty of character, this 1971 Cadillac hearse is definitely worth considering. It's a well-preserved example of a classic car that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. And at $10,000, it's a relatively affordable way to own a piece of automotive history. Of course, as with any used vehicle purchase, it's always a good idea to have the car inspected by a trusted mechanic before making a final decision. But based on the seller's description and the photos provided, this hearse seems to be a solid and well-maintained example that's ready for its next owner to enjoy. So if you're ready to stand out from the crowd and cruise around in style, why not give this 1971 Cadillac hearse a closer look? With its classic good looks, smooth ride, and unique features, it's sure to be a conversation starter wherever you go. Don't miss out on this rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 19. We've got a real classic to talk about, a 1953 Ford sedan that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $14,900, and let me tell you, it's a real head-turner. First off, let's talk about the condition of this Ford. The seller describes it as being in good shape, and based on the details they provided, it's clear that a lot of work has gone into making this car look and run great. The paint and chrome are said to be in great condition, which is always a plus for a classic car like this. Now, let's talk about what makes this Ford so special. Under the hood, you'll find a GM 350 engine that's been upgraded with aluminum cylinder heads and an intake manifold. This means that the car has plenty of power and performance to match its good looks. The engine is paired with a 353-speed transmission with a console shift, which adds to the sporty feel of the car. But the upgrades don't stop there. This Ford has been fitted with a subframe that includes power disc brakes, which is a big improvement over the original drum brakes. It also has power steering with a tilt wheel, making it easier and more comfortable to drive. The interior has been completely redone with new gauges, seats, headliner, and door panels, giving it a fresh and modern feel while still retaining its classic charm. Other notable features include an AM/FM stereo with a CD player, tinted glass, and electric cooling fans to keep the engine running cool. The car also has new mufflers, which means it should have a nice deep rumble when you start it up. Of course, as with any classic car, there may be some minor issues to address. The seller doesn't mention anything specific, but it's always a good idea to have a trusted mechanic take a look at the car before making a final decision. However, based on the overall condition and the upgrades that have been made, this 1953 Ford sedan seems to be a solid and well-maintained example of a classic American car. In conclusion, if you're in the market for a vintage ride that's sure to turn heads and put a smile on your face every time you get behind the wheel, this 1953 Ford sedan is definitely worth considering. With its powerful engine, upgraded features, and classic good looks, it's the kind of car that you'll be proud to show off at any car show or cruise night. And at $14,900, it's a relatively affordable way to own a piece of automotive history. 20. We've got a real gem to share with you, a 1964 Buick Skylark convertible that's currently up for sale on Craigslist. This beauty is priced at $15,000 or best offer, and let me tell you, it's a rare find in this condition. First off, let's talk about the overall condition of this Skylark. The seller describes it as being in good shape, and based on the details they provided, it seems to be a very original and well-maintained example. The car has no rust, which is always a big plus for a classic car like this. The seller also notes that there are no cracks or damage to the body, which is impressive for a car that's nearly 60 years old. Now let's talk about what makes this Skylark so special. Under the hood, you'll find the original Wildcat 310 V8 engine, which has been completely rebuilt. This means that the car should have plenty of power and run like a dream. The seller also mentions that the car has brand new tires, brakes, and carburetor, which shows that they've put a lot of work into making sure this car is in top mechanical condition. The interior of the car is also in great shape, with bucket seats that show no signs of wear or damage. The original radio is still in place, adding to the car's vintage charm. And let's not forget about the convertible top. There's nothing quite like cruising down the road on a sunny day with the top down in a classic car like this. Other notable features of this Skylark include power steering, which makes it easier to handle, and the original rally wheels, which give it a sporty look. The car also has special plates, which is a cool touch. Of course, as with any used car purchase, it's always a good idea to have a trusted mechanic take a look at the car before making a final decision. The seller mentions that they have receipts for the engine rebuild, which is a good sign that they've taken good care of the car. However, there may be other minor issues that need to be addressed, so it's always better to be safe than sorry. In conclusion, if you're in the market for a classic American convertible that's sure to turn heads and put a smile on your face every time you get behind the wheel, this 1964 Buick Skylark is definitely worth considering. With its original Wildcat 310 V8 engine, rebuilt mechanicals, and stunning good looks, it's the kind of car that you'll be proud to show off at any car show or cruise night. And at $15,000 or best offer, it's a relatively affordable way to own a piece of automotive history.